Cambridge, England, one of the world's ancient centres of learning and the scene in the summer of 2009 of a quest for knowledge by a group of young Americans. William Shakespeare wrote, "We know what we are, but we know not what we may be." And Benjamin Franklin said, "An investment in knowledge pays the best interest." These are statements that embrace the rationale behind a pilot project in which the students met at Clare College at the University of Cambridge to investigate, with the help of world-class experts and academics, the definable links between a range of business, historical, scientific and cultural subjects.
The whole idea is to look at the world through various lenses in an environment that I believe is very conducive, maybe enlightening for intellectual exploration. And no better place to do it than Cambridge. Not a sterile environment, a place where they can see history over 1,000 years of learning and realize the context in which money has been put to good use to further civilization, society, technology, and various other aspects of the life we lead.
The 12 students were the sons and daughters of members of the Society of International Business Fellows and pupils from Pace Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, a school that agreed to participate in this pilot project designed to open the doors of learning in a friendly and informal environment. The week-long seminar was called Money and the Responsibility of Wealth, and it covered several lectures each day. The world of business and the international markets formed a significant core to these lectures and discussions. The participation of Bruce Albrecht, a partner in P&C Global Wealth Managers and an advisor to the Rothschild Bank, and several predominant Arab business magnates in the Middle East, added considerable prestige to the gathering.
I was trying to demystify a little bit asset management because I think there's too much mumbo-jumbo talked around. Using jargon, jargon's necessary, but there's nothing wrong with understanding the jargon. What's most important for people from an early age is to start thinking about, why do they have assets? What's the goal? What's the time horizon?
Discussions embraced a strong cocktail of financial and business criteria, including the mathematics of money, the ethics of money and its proper use, credit cards and debt, budgeting, creating and measuring your success, even the do's and don'ts of investing money.
They had us create a budget based on a $42,000 a year salary, and it really came as a shock to a lot of us that we're only going to be able to spend, $200 a month on dining out and going to movies and going out at night and things like that.
Charges less than $10 you shouldn't use your credit card for, which I think is a very good point, because if you do too many of those, you don't realize how much it adds up, and it really does add up.
I walked out of the lecture, and 5 minutes later I emailed my dad and told him that I needed to sit down and come up with a list of all my expenses for the year so I knew how much I was actually spending, because I don't realize how much I spend. I know I don't.
The organisers were conscious that an appreciation and knowledge of science, history and culture, and how they are interlinked, are essential in presenting a relevant panorama of the modern sustainable business world.
There's huge amounts of toxic chemicals.
Among the several scientific speakers was William Nuttall, a lecturer in technology policy at Cambridge University, who works in collaboration with the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where he was a Fulbright scholar.
But nuclear waste is poisonous for 300,000 years. I wanted them to be questioning of the concept of sustainability and think more deeply than what their initial first impression might otherwise have been. I think it's important for them to be able to go beyond notions of simply environmentally benign technology, and also to go beyond ideas of fuels that are going to last a very long time. For instance, to bring in social sustainability thinking and to bring in the economic perspective on sustainability.
English has become the international language of business, which gives its native speakers, like the British and the Americans, a distinct advantage. But the coherent use of our language and a knowledge of the work of its leading writers and poets over a period of hundreds of years is essential to achieve a wider understanding of how it is used properly to communicate ideas.
It's highly inconvenient for
Dr. Charles Moseley, a distinguished Cambridge academic, was able to throw light on what had perhaps been dark areas in younger minds on the importance and relevance of the work of William Shakespeare and why he matters.
The idea of an education which is moving simply in the direction of something merely practical, merely utilitarian, worries me greatly, because education is about much more than that. It's about, as I say, making people fully human. And they have to have skills, of course they have. They've got to create wealth, of course they have. Without that we all starve. But what are you doing it for? You've got to do it in order to be a human being and to fulfill your potential. And everybody's got different potential.
People are different, of course, and so it was natural that the 12 students would enjoy some parts of the seminar more than others.
Dr. Moseley said earlier in the week, you have to give a wide range of different things, and then people can find their passion and find what they enjoy. And so obviously I wasn't going to enjoy every single lecture that didn't have to do with wealth management, but I think that since they did give such a wide range of different lectures from different subjects, I was able to find something that I found really interesting.
We studied Shakespeare in school. Like, we read Othello, Romeo and Juliet, but just hearing it from Dr. Moseley did a really good job. You can tell he's really passionate about it, the way he speaks, and he knows so much. It was really impressive.
I learn also.
What you can say depends on the concepts you have available, and the concepts can only be expressed in language. So the larger the vocabulary, the more precise your expression of your intuitions can be. And the greatest extension of our language at any one time by any one person was by Shakespeare. Many of whose locutions, many of whose words we still use without even realizing we are doing so.
Oh, God of love! I know he doth deserve as much as may be yielded to a man, but nature never framed a woman's heart of prouder stuff than that of Beatrice.
It's one of the best places in which to start exploring the power of language to move, to persuade, and to delight, because fun is the important part of life.
The experience of being in Cambridge and enjoying its cultural heritage, such as visits to the Museum of Zoology, the Whipple Museum of the History of Science, and the Fitzwilliam Museum, made it an unforgettably enriching experience.
When we signed up, it was sort of going into it blindly. I didn't really know exactly what it was going to be. I thought it was going to be all the economy, but being able to have a huge range of things, it expands your mind a little bit.
I've really enjoyed the lectures we've had so far. The ones on finance have been pretty informative, and then the other ones on science and history, we've really just had top-notch speakers.
One of the afternoons I went and got cucumber sandwiches and tea.
If you want to learn about your future and how you manage your money, this is the best place to come.
At first I was a little hesitant about coming here, but after being here I would definitely do it all over again. I would say a month if I could.
You learn so much from so many incredibly intelligent people, so it would be a very good idea for anyone to do this.
I think that sometimes a lot of programs fail to get past the theory and make it applicable to real life, and I think that this program really did, and it showed you how to be responsible with money.
Riches are to be used. It's determining how they may be used in the best way for yourself and for the environment and for other people and so on, that one hopes these young and eventually very powerful people will consider. They will all come up with different solutions.
In the end, you always hope to have the next generation be both educated and sensitive to the world in which they live, to be good stewards of the money which is entrusted to them. And obviously, to the extent that we can make a small contribution in this setting and sow a seed that germinates into something, maybe a better life led, a more productive life led, that's exciting.
I look at the reaction of some of the participants, the young men and women who have participated, and you can see, as Nick has described, a light bulb going off. And my hope is they're going to come back, tell their friends about it, tell their parents about it, and we'll be doing many, many more.
Everything sounds like common sense when you're outside of it, but once you get in, there's so many other aspects of the economy and managing your money and your assets that you just wouldn't have thought of originally. I'm really glad I did it.